how I can shoot this scene. So you literally can outsource your thinking to this tool and you don't have to do anything. And I know sometimes like creators को कभी कभी ego पे लगता है कि oh no it can't do a better job than me, but trust me, if you give it enough context it can. It's literally going to talk like you. I'll give you one more example, okay? So this is in the space. So I was trying few prompts around lifestyle content, like beauty
Welcome
content.
guys,
I was
welcome,
basically
welcome.
seeing a
Ajao.
lot of reels on Instagram where
Big
like people
surprise
are talking
reveal.
about their skin tones and they're just like your autumn season and your this season, your that season. So I asked Gemini and I was like, okay, I want you to give me some ideas. I want you to talk about these seasons and relate it to fashion. Because people were talking mainly about beauty, that this kind of makeup will suit you, that kind of makeup will suit
Hello,
you. These
hello,
are the
hello.
ideas it gave. Find your perfect color palette in 15 seconds. Autumn versus winter, which season are you? Best makeup for your skin tone, 3 tips. It gave me the idea, it gave me the concept,
I am here.
it also gave me the whole script. Visual, you're standing in front of yourself, adjusting
Yes.
your gameplay. Text on screen, the text that will go in that shot. So here's the T. What is the voiceover? So here's the T, this deep green blazer, total boss move. By the way, all those images are AI generated. So yeah, so texting, ideating, scripting, storyboarding. I want you to have a look at this. I asked it to storyboard that same script second by second. Opening shot, 0 to 2 seconds. Text on
Guys,
screen,
guys, guys.
voiceover.
Reveal हो चुका
Scene
है.
1, scene 2, scene 3,
Reveal.
scene 4, scene 5. Literally,
कैसा लग रहा है,
every
कैसा लग रहा
single
है?
second, it's detailed, so I don't have to think about
आवाज आ
anything
रही है मेरी,
proud.
आवाज आ
He's
रही
my
है?
editor, it's easy for him. If I want a reference, it can also generate the images. You can also just go a step further and be like, hey Gemini, can you just generate an image, a reference that I can give to my editor, that this editor can copy? It can do that as well. Now, let's go a step deeper. A lot of you already create content and you want this AI to sound like you. All you need to do is take all your old scripts, whether it's short form scripts, long form scripts, feed it into a Google document. If you feed it into a
गौरव
Google
सही कह रहा है भाई.
document, upload it on Gemini. Like I said, context it everything. Context is everything. And you tell Gemini ki, this is what I sound like. This is my audience. This is how I talk. Can you emulate my voice? It'll do a fantastic job. For example, the script that we saw before, I saw this one creator, she's pretty big on YouTube, Malvika Sitlani. So I was like, this is how she talks. I fed it some data. I gave it some context. Google Doc pe dal ke thodi script. So I was like, can you emulate her voice? And it wrote it literally in her voice. Like I don't talk like this. So here's the T, this deep green blazer, total boss move is giving warm vibes and street also effortlessly stylish. And I read the whole script. What it does is, everybody has these few terms or few specific words that they use, and it can be whatever language you're
गाइस
comfortable
अभी मैं
with,
बोल नहीं
whether you're
पाऊंगा कुछ,
creating
तो
content in
थोड़ी देर
Punjabi,
बाद
whether you're
आवाज
creating
आऊंगा
content in Hindi.
जब मैं कुछ बोल
Feed it the
पाऊंगा.
script in Hindi, and it'll pick up those words. It'll know what your tonality is like. It'll know whether you use long sentences, short sentences, but you need to feed it enough context. If you're just feeding it those two scripts and being like, hey, sound like me, it won't work. Just like your intern or your script writer, if you're not giving them enough data, they will not know how to write like you.
गौरव.
Similarly, Gemini also needs context, and the more context you give, the more time you can spend with it, the better your output will be. Now let's move on to NotebookLMs. This is mainly for how many long form creators here? Oh wow, a lot of long form creators. And do you guys, of course, I feel like for long form, everybody needs to do a lot of research. NotebookLM, I literally use this tool every single day. I like the magic of NotebookLM. In NotebookLMs, you can basically put Google Documents, you can put videos, you can put direct website link, you can directly paste documents, and it will accumulate all the information and it will give you answers to whatever question you're asking. I feel like, especially if you're in educational fields or creating educational content like we do, research is a very, very important part.
यस
And
हर्ष भाई, यस.
this is extremely helpful and it takes YouTube videos about whatever you're creating a video about. You just need to put your research and it'll answer everything. One more thing that's very interesting about Gemini and a lot of tools is what they call hallucination. So a lot of times what these tools or these LLMs do is they basically, if you tell them that, oh, there's a tree and there's rainfall, it'll connect the two in the weirdest ways possible. Like you can tell Gemini to write a story connecting butterfly effect and say connect butterfly to a Bharatnatyam. The randomest of things, and it's able to cook up a story. So what we feel like this feature hallucination is nothing but creativity. Like most of the storytelling, most of the stories that we tell, we also just we're making up shit. So I feel like this is one of the reasons why Gemini or these AI tools, their best use case scenario is actually creativity and writing and storytelling. And I feel like everybody should be leveraging that because sometimes, and I'm sure there are a lot of times where we run out of ideas, we run out of things to say. We are like, okay, how many more stories will we write? How much more content? Because at the end of the day, everybody has a limit. So I feel like this is Gemini, NotebookLM, these tools are somebody you can outsource half the work to. One more very interesting use case of Gemini is gems. I absolutely love gems. Gems is basically you telling somebody or you telling Gemini that, hey, you're my therapist. And at one chat, you can feed it all the information, bitching about your boyfriend, bitching about your girlfriend, bitching about your childhood trauma, whatever the hell you want to say. It will save that there. Don't worry, it's completely safe. It's not going to be leaked anywhere. I feel like people are always apprehensive of using AI because they feel like, oh, my data is going anywhere. It is not. And every time you come back to it, it has the old context saved. Let's say you had a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend 5 days later. You can go back to Gems, it'll have history of all your fights, and you can be like, hey, this happened today. He said this, I said this, whose fault is it? And it'll literally, it'll be able to point out, your patterns, or if you are the one who's continuously getting, who's creating trouble here, or if it's somebody else. You can also, again, use it as a scriptwriter, you can use it as whatever you want. If you want it to be your cook or somebody who tracks your daily calories, you can say, you are my trainer and my nutritionist. I'm going to put in my calories here. It'll save all the context over the days, and every time you go back to it, it'll have all that information stored there. So,
हाँ भाई वाईफाई है
gems are very, very useful when you are talking to some specific persona. And again, you can go back to it over days and days and days. It'll have all your history. Now, talking to AI, I know I've been already talking about talking to AI, but let's break it down a little more because we want to make sure that we are getting the best out of whatever we say to Gemini. Like I said, think about it as an intern who you are upskilling to whatever role you need it to be, whether it's your writer, whether it's somebody helping you with ideation, whatever that role is, you need to tell Gemini that, hey, I am talking to you as you are essentially my scriptwriter. So you need to specify the role you want Gemini to assume. Then you need to clearly state what you need help with. You need to break down complex requests or whatever the output you want from Gemini into smaller parts.
it's
Third is
गुड़गांव
very, very important for all creators. It needs to know who are you talking to. पता ही नहीं है कि तुम्हारी audience creator or how is it going to write. It also needs to know what is the person who Gemini is creating content for. If your audience is 18 to 24-year-olds, tier 2 cities, they understand Hindi better, they watch XYZ creators, they like specific type of content, give it that context. Honestly, if you're lazy to do that, just take a screenshot of your YouTube analytics and put it there. Be like, hey, for my audience, I'm going to feed you YouTube analytics. Look at my audience. Here are the other channels they're watching. These are some scripts that have worked. This is the content that they like. Context and constraints. We've spoken enough about context. Constraints are, you need to provide relevant background information and any constraints that you have. For example, if you want to say that I want you to create a script, you're a script writer, please write a script about the top 5 shoes that are trending among Gen Z. Exclude XYZ brands. Like, if you don't want to talk about a specific brand, or if you don't want to talk about a specific style because that's been done and dusted on YouTube, you can always give it that context. Then format. Specify how you want the response to be presented. Do you want the final script? Do you just want ideas? Do you want it? Do you want a 5,000 word script? Do you want a 100 word script? Do you want a whole essay? What is it that you want? Exactly how you are speaking to your employees, your team members. Talk to it like that. Give it clarity. Give it context. And I will add one more thing to it. Feed it in whatever format you're comfortable with. Audio, writing, whatever it is. Hindi mein, English mein, Punjabi mein, jo bhi chalta hai, but give it context. Anytime you're writing a prompt that is like just 2 lines, it's not going to do the job. One more thing that you can do is you can take a screenshot of this and feed it to Gemini and then just send it a voice recording. Be like, hey, this is what I want from you. Can you improve my prompt? Because I want to get better output. So can you please improve my prompt? Can you tell me what I need to prompt you to get this output? You can do that also. It's just a screenshot, just a matter of a screenshot. But the thing is, all of these things we will only realize once we are spending time with the tool. That becomes very, very important when it comes to using AI.
चलो
We
गाइस,
use
I'll
these tools
join
day
back
in, day
थोड़ी
out,
देर में.
every single day. We train our teams how to use them. And once people start using them, I
Yes,
feel like
all
we
are
can
YouTuber.
fully outsource the thinking. Like, our teams, we're still a pretty small team for the amount of work that's being pushed out, and that's only and only been possible because of tools like these.
I'll join
For
back.
example,
जब मैं बोल पाऊँ तो मैं
that's a
करता हूँ,
prompt.
ठीक है?
Create a comprehensive plan for monetizing my
Log.
YouTube channel. But that's a pretty shitty prompt. Like I said, 2 lines prompts are horrible. Never just write 2